we are here. Katie, Pedro, he's here because he made the bridge between us. Okay, so he's the guilty
The
of
connector.
the connection. Yes, and
He's the link.
The
He's
link.
the link.
Yes, he's the main link of the chain. So the purpose that connected us was the lean world and people in leadership. And so, why, Katie? What did you feel that you had to write this book? What was the move that you had?
So I met Mr. Isao Yoshino in 2014, right before I moved to Japan for almost a 2-year experience with my family. And through the conversations over many years of visiting him in Nagoya and Toyota City, I was learning so much as a lean practitioner and consultant. And I felt like his experiences and his wisdom and his positive spirit and insider information about some really important times in Toyota's history needed to be shared with the world. And after I moved back to the United States in 2016, he and I continued to collaborate and decided to partner together to write a book. And that came out in English in 2020. And it's been just amazing, the positive response it's had around the world.
Okay, that's quite good. And what's the biggest expectation that you have for the book for people? So what to expect that people get from the book?
There were two main goals that I had when writing the book. One was to give people the insights about what it really is like to be a real human being inside of a learning organization and what it means to really learn to lead and then lead with an attitude of learning. And I love Mr. Yoshino's vulnerability in sharing not just his successes, but his failures and mistakes too. And so I felt like people could really learn and relate to those stories. And then the second part that I really wanted people to get from the book was to discover the real stories behind everything that we've heard about lean and the Toyota production system, and to really humanize it, to go beyond the tools, which of course are important, and beyond the process, which is essential, but to really, really focus on the people and how there was intentional focus throughout Toyota's history on developing people first as the way to deliver great products and services to their customers.
So before giving the word to Pedro, so you lived the experience of Shingo when he said that lean is more a way of thinking than a group of tools and methods. So you just lived that.
Yes, well, I believe that wholeheartedly, that the tools are essential to get us where we need to go, to help us solve problems and to look at process and make those improvements. But the tools without the people and the people choosing the right tool and doing the thinking and improving the tool isn't going to get us anywhere. So we can focus on the people first and give them the capabilities and confidence to apply the tools and to feel engaged in the purpose of the organization, we will achieve so much. And that was really so much a part of Mr. Yoshino's story that I wanted to share with the world.
Awesome. Pedro, I think that you are just listening and tasting the words of Katie, but well,
absolutely, it's a fantastic book, and I strongly recommend it to anyone, not only leaders, not only people that want to lead, but as Katie said, this is not really about the tools of the Toyota production system or lean or whatever you want to call it, but it's about people. It's about how people live in an organization, how people learn, how people behave. All those lessons learned from Mr. Yoshino's mistakes and trials that he was put up to. It's beautiful. I've told the story of the messed up with the paint right in the beginning of the book, the wrong paint on the painting line, and people in our side of the world, in the Western side of the part of the world, don't quite understand that stuff.
Mm.
It's not the way we behave. And all the other stories of Mr. Yoshino adapted and learned from other cultures and other leadership styles. It's amazing.
Mm.
It's not about the tools again.
No.
It's
And
amazing
and
stories.
it's not, yeah, thank you, Pedro. And it's not about being Japanese or only working at Toyota. Toyota demonstrated that they could apply and translate their the principles to another culture through the NUMI joint venture back in the 1980s in the United States. And we've seen that if people really put a focus on people first, that we can make this culture shift. It's just a bigger gap for some of us in the cultures that we have been brought up in or that we work in as well.
Yes, that's quite good. There is a part of the book where it talks about the experience of moving from one city to another, and the difficult that was for him to understand why his colleagues in the US were not moving from California to Orlando, because for him and for his family, it was quite normal. If you have a new project in a new town, you go. And I really enjoyed that part because it shows the difference of thinking that we have around the world. And to answer to Pedro, indeed, this can go to anyone, because the designer of the book in Portugal, Barbara, she was astonished with the explanation of the name Toyota and the logo of the company. So anyone can find a way to learn and to interact with the book. So
yes,
quite good.
Well, Ryan, thank you. Well, I appreciate hearing that, because that was a really important part of how I wrote the book. So the book was crafted after years of interviews and purposeful discussions I had with Mr. Yoshino, and really trying to extract the stories and synthesize his experiences. And I also wanted it to be available and enjoyable and something to learn from for people who don't know maybe as much of the details about the Toyota production system, and to add little bits of information throughout the book that could be valuable from a human perspective for people.
If you could just describe the feeling that you have about the book and about the feedback that you are getting from the book in one word, and what you expect to Portugal in one word, which one would you choose?
You're putting back my one word question. I would say joyful. I am truly joyful that people are learning from these stories, that they feel more connected to the possibility of the culture that they can create, and that they feel more energized about their ability to influence how to really create a positive, people-centered learning culture. So for me, the one word that I would describe the impact of the book is joyful.
Awesome. Pedro, give us
there's so many words.
I won't give just one word. I'm going to give 3 words. It's going to be purpose, direction, and development. It's going to be only 3, but the sentence, you'll get there. That is something that people will learn from the book.
Yes.
Setting the direction and giving the purpose and developing ourselves. I think that's the biggest takeaway I get from the book.
Yeah. Well, right. And so I guess for me, your question said, what's my experience of the impact of the book? And to me, that's the personally joyful. If we were asking a word that people are going to take away from the book, I would, echo Pedro's words, but the other one just would be learning. And then if we stay in learning, anything is possible. So the impact for me is joyful. The takeaway of the book is learning.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Okay.
Keep learning for yourself, for your team, for your organization. And if you can be in that learning space, then you are humble, you are curious, you are caring, right? So all those things are embodied by the word learning.
Okay, so I think that now it's time for people to read, to get the book and read. Yeah. And after that, join you and interact with you, because in the book, you give people a lot of ways to connect with you. So thank you for that. I think that
You're welcome.
that is a quite example of that you give us, your example of connection. So thank you so much, and I hope that the Portuguese will give you the answer that you deserve with the book.
Well, I hope everyone not only enjoys the book and feels joyful from reading it, but really feels that they have learned something about how they can make their organization and their world a better place.
Okay, Katie, thank you so much, and see you soon in Portugal.
I would like that.
Keep
Thank you.
getting
Enjoy,
All
everyone.
the best.
All the
Bye-bye.
best.
Thank you. Thanks, Ricardo. Bye-bye.